Oh yes, it's the Fox 17 Rockin' Review with my very talented friend, Bryan Kehoe. Came all the way in from California.
Hello, boys and girls.
You probably know him from Dunlop TV, interviews the major names like Joe Bonamassa, Billy Gibbons, Slash, Kerry King, the list goes on, and I get to interview him today. Because nobody knows more about the
shoes on the other foot.
the great Jim Dunlop MXR pedals and the whole line. And thanks for bringing them in. Let's talk about it, Bryan.
First thing I want to talk about is the EVH 5150 Overdrive. This we worked for a year with Eddie Van Halen to develop his signature sound. Let me turn off some of the sauce here, and you can hear what the amplifier sounds like bypassed.
Totally clean.
Pretty clean, and then here it is.
Oh yeah.
So as you can see right here, it has gain, treble, middle, bass, and output, which is very amp-like. Mm-hmm. And then this is input boost. It's a little bit different than what people think. It adds a little bit boost on the input and a little bit of compression.
And I liked it. You know, from reviewing the pedal and checking it out, Bryan, I thought the boost really helps. And the gate, what a great idea.
Yeah, the gate this is a little mini version of our smart gate, the MXR smart gate. And like I said, we worked with Van Halen, who is very, very particular. It's not like this is someone's interpretation of Van Halen's sound. This is Eddie's sound.
Right.
And he will give us hell. Can I say that on the air?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, he does not stand for any shenanigans.
No, he does not.
And this has to be right.
Yeah.
And so he says it's right. I say it's right. It's right.
It's an incredible pedal. I'll tell you what, when I plugged it in, I was amazing to where you could get, all the Van Halen sounds, but also, it worked good if you want to just a little bit lower dirt or you want to drive it harder.
So it works nice as a nice overdrive by rolling back the gain. Another thing is you pump that gain all the way up, scoop the mids, all those metal kids that are out there banging their heads up against those metal walls, they get a really nice, serious hardcore sound out of it.
I think you can make any amp sound better with that pedal.
What better is subjective. But if you're looking for this sound, this is going to nail it.
That's it. Now, also, you brought in some...
And this is available now.
This is available now, and you can find it on the website, too.
JimDunlop.com.
Okay.
Get on the World Wide Web, go down to your local gear store, and check it out.
And now, let's talk about, you've got a new release here coming out.
We do. This is our reverb, and it has 6 different reverbs. It has a plate, a spring, an epic... And I can run through some of this real quick. A modulated reverb. Wow. It also has a small room and then a pad which you can get really out there with.
Oh yeah.
So right now I have it on the plate. That's bypassed, and then here it is. Put it on the single coil, and I'll switch it over to the spring, and we'll turn it up a little bit and give you the.
So if you were playing hypothetically like Psychobilly, you could use that pedal pretty easy. You sound great on everything. That's an awesome pedal.
And then, if you want to get really out there, it can do some pretty kooky stuff here on the pad. You can get a little shoegazer.
Ooh.
Oh, maybe I'll have to turn it on. There it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very organ-like.
It has some stuff going on there. Pink Floyd. Hold on, man. Far out.
I feel like you're doing the intro from the movie Heavy Metal.
It's kind of what it is. So this will be available in early part of 2016. Very, very cool, very, very versatile pedal.
Oh yeah, sounds great. Now let's talk about, you guys have been developing this for a while, Bryan, and you told me about this, how long this was in development. The MXR ISO brick, and what a great power supply. You guys put some thought into this.
This thing is really, really cool. It has 6 different 9 volts, has 2 18 volts, and then it has 2 adjustable voltages that can go from 6.5 to 15. They're all isolated, so they're not daisy chained. If one of your pedals goes out, or if one of the outlets goes out, the whole thing won't go down.
See, that's incredible.
If you ever strung up Christmas lights,
yes,
you know that one of the bulbs goes out, the whole thing goes out. Well, because these are isolated, that won't happen.
And like we were talking off camera earlier, Brian, too, to where if you want to, bring a level down, if you want to bring the power down, for like a fuzz pedal, it's great for doing that.
That's one of the fun things to do with the adjustable stuff. You bring it down, you soak the fuzz pedal, get it squishy and spitty. And then one thing I like to do is I like to boost up a little bit of the voltage for overdrives.
Right.
Opens up that ceiling, and then you get a nice, real clean headroom.
Well, what I thought was so great with it, besides it looking, like something from James Bond, is that, also, a lot of boutique pedals don't use the typical 9-volt. They usually need a little more.
Some 12, some are less, but there's also 218s on there too, if
that's
if
awesome.
you need that. And the other thing is on the 9 volts, they range from 100 to 450 milliamps, and the 450 milliamp will power your digital. A lot of digital stuff.
Oh yeah. Now let's also talk about this little guy here.
The mini Crybaby.
Oh my gosh, what a great pedal.
I mean, look at my hand just covers the whole thing up. It's insane.
It's like a pup.
It's a little fella.
It's a puppy of a pedal.
So this thing is awesome. Guys who don't, they don't have room, they got a flyboard.
Right.
They need,
especially like a Nano.
Yeah. And so they throw this on there. You get your wah-wah sound because this is a Crybaby. It doesn't sound just like a Crybaby. It is a Crybaby.
I thought what was so fun about this one, Brian, is that it comes with a wrench, and you've got 3 different voicings in this pedal. So not only are you getting the authentic Crybaby sound, which I love,
Switch 1 is authentic Crybaby, GCB 95. Switch 2 is a vintage, that's going to sound more like a Vox or like a Clyde McCoy. And then number 3 is the darker one, which is more like the Hendrix. It's voiced after the Hendrix.
Which the number 3 was my favorite. So, but I mean, they all 3 great sounds in one pedal. Now let's talk about these 2 quick. You've got this pedal was a limited.
This is available now. The Crybaby is available now.
Oh yeah, totally.
And now moving over to the Carbon Copy Bright. This is analog bucket brigade delay. A lot of people don't care for the degraded dark returns on some of the on our regular carbon copy, and they ask for it to be brighter. So this is a little bit brighter. It's voiced a little bit differently. It's a little cleaner and a little brighter. It's got a little more of a mid-range sound to it. I mean, without a being against the other one. But this is for someone that wants a little more presence in their delay instead of a dark and muddy.
And so many musicians here in Nashville, obviously, and around the world, use the delays just to thicken things up some.
Give it a little ambiance.
Now you've got another guy over here too that's got some cool features.
This is amazing right here. This is inspired by a standard studio compressor that is in all the studios. Rack mount one. And the cool thing about it is you're not going to really hear the subtleties, but it has this metering bridge where you can see.
I love that.
Where the compressor is grabbing and holding on, and you can set it however you want. You have a bunch of different ratios here. You have an input and output gain, a release and an attack parameter function, and look at this thing. It just looks beautiful.
It's like a rack unit in a pedal.
Yeah, and instead of the VUs, it has that metering bridge. And compression is a subtle thing. It's not really an effect as it is more like a tool. And it's something that you really feel a lot more as a player than you really hear. And with this metering bridge, you can really see kind of what's going on. So if you're not really familiar with compression, you can learn a lot just because of how the parameters
and
work.
Spending time with them, because I mean, all these pedals are so flexible, and I think once again, Brian, it comes down to spending some time with them, seeing how it works for your playing.
Well, you know what we do? We make and sell fun, pal.
Yeah, you do, in a box.
That's what it is. So the Carbon Copy Bright, the 5150, the Crybaby Mini, and the ISO Brick are all available now. 2016, early 2016, the Reverb and the Studio Compressor will be available. So get on the old World Wide Webs, check out jimdunlop.com, go down to your local guitar and gear shop, and go and, you know what, have some fun for crying out loud.
And do me a favor also, be sure and check out my buddy, Bryan Kehoe, on Dunlop TV. He has some of the best interviews. He talks with the players that are out there on the stages using these pedals and how they are using them. So be sure and check out Bryan. Check out these pedals too, MXR. They sound awesome, just like Mr. Kehoe does. Thanks for watching the Fox 17 Rock and Review.
Adios, amigos.